Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This webinar is Innovations in Remote Legal Help, and it is hosted by Pro Bono Net. My name is Jeannie Ortiz, and I am the Pro Bono and Strategic Initiatives Manager. I am joined by my colleagues, Liz Keith, who is the Program Director of Pro Bono Net, and Jessica Stewart, Senior Product Manager. We are all part of one of Pro Bono Net's programs, Remote Legal Connect, which you will learn more about today. And before we begin, we do want to know that this webinar is being recorded. And although all attendees are muted, we definitely want to hear from you and encourage you to ask questions. You can enter any comments or your questions in the questions box, and we can get to them at the end. And the video recording will be posted to Pro Bono Net's YouTube channel. And as a registered attendee, you will also receive a follow-up email with this link. So for attendees who are not familiar with Pro Bono Net, we are a national nonprofit based in New York City. Our mission is to increase access justice by building technology tools that help individuals access, understand, and exercise their legal rights, and also connecting legal professionals to resources and justice networks. Our programs help legal aid organizations and law firms as well build their pro bono programs by using technology to expand legal services and increase efficiency. If you're joining us today, you're likely interested in remote legal help models and workflows. Maybe your organization has a remote pro bono or legal help program, but you're still interested in learning about other models and what has worked for other organizations. We know that even though we're 2.5 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of programs are still deciding on whether to maintain the strategies used this time to deliver legal services, or whether to develop hybrid models to adjust to the needs of clients and communities. That said, we know that there's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and that's what we're here to share more about today. Liz, did you want to add anything else?
Great, thanks, Jeannie. I just wanted to welcome everybody again for joining us today and briefly give a little bit of context to Pro Bono Net's work in this space. Many of the insights and technology approaches that Jeannie and Jessica will share today are informed by our learning during the pandemic and the needs and lessons our field partners, including many of you attending today, have shared with us. It's also informed by our learning in our Citizenship Works program, which is an online platform that makes applying for citizenship easier and more accessible, and that's been used by immigration legal services providers for more than a decade to help immigrants learn about their eligibility, complete the naturalization application, and obtain an in-person or remote legal review of their completed application. And when we think about technology, whether it's in the pandemic or post-pandemic context or prior to this in the decade before, we really think about it not solely as a means to replace brick and mortar services and in-person services, but really to help build capacity and integrate new volunteers, bring new justice partners into these service models and ultimately help more people. So what you'll hear today, and as you hear about the technology that our approaches to that and what we've developed, we've tried to do that in a way that's centered in the human and relational aspects of remote services that we've learned and heard from you are really needed to help people successfully participate in online services. And we'll hear more from Jeannie in the next segment about some of our recent learnings from the field on this topic.
Great, thanks, Liz. And so just a bit more background on our understanding of remote legal services and what we've learned. In 2019, the Immigration Advocates Network, which is a program of Pro Bono Net, surveyed over 200 immigration nonprofits to understand three things: whether and how organizations were using technology to connect people to legal information or services, what barriers, if any, the organizations had or were experiencing to provide those remote legal services, and how national networks could help organizations develop remote legal support strategies. The findings of that survey were first published in March 2020, right at the beginning of the global pandemic. And I think it's a really great resource on practical strategies and recommendations from attorneys, pro bono program directors, community outreach experts, and others who had developed remote legal support projects in their organizations before the pandemic. And that survey revealed that in 2019, 25% of respondents had facilitated an online or phone connection to provide legal help to an individual, and 50% of the organizations that we surveyed reported a lack of equipment as a barrier to remote legal services. And for purposes of that number, equipment should be interpreted to include online tools, not just physical equipment. And then we also learned that 40% of the people that we interviewed were unwilling to try innovative service delivery models. Despite there being wide interest in developing and implementing remote legal strategies into current program workflows, organizations also shared that they were not confident or convinced enough in implementing those remote strategies to their current work. And they cited staff capacity, obtaining referrals for the program, and a general need to learn more about project design and management as barriers to do that. Other barriers that organizations cited were equipment needed to provide remote legal services and staff who were willing to try innovative service delivery models. We also learned that a small number of organizations had arranged or referred those seeking services to virtual or telephone meetings with lawyers, and even fewer had engaged in legal volunteer training or recruitment for remote legal support or services. So fast forward to 2021, and we saw those percentages that I just shared change significantly. The Immigration Advocates Network conducted another survey in the midst of the pandemic, but when programs had already kind of adjusted to the new reality. A majority of organizations now report that they have facilitated an online or phone connection to provide legal help to an individual, and only 20% reported that equipment was a barrier to providing remote legal services, compared to that other 50% in 2019. And more staff are now willing to try innovative service delivery models. The figure that you see on your screen confirms how the pandemic, of course, dramatically changed the ways nonprofit organizations delivered legal services to clients. The Immigration Advocates Network also learned that technology literacy is still a challenge during the pandemic, with 37% of organizations citing a lack of understanding technology as a barrier. And these findings are captured, the findings from this national survey are captured in a report that was just published yesterday. And we have added the link to the 2022 edition of this report, but we'll also add it to the YouTube video description once we upload this recording to our YouTube channel. Over the coming weeks, the Immigration Advocates Network and Pro Bono Net will also be posting project profiles of successful and remote pro bono partnerships. So we certainly encourage everyone to check this page for updates. So now that more and more people are embracing technology based on what we just shared, one of the questions we ask is, how can we use that, right, that interest to expand legal help? And what can we envision to build and maintain long-term and sustainable remote legal help programs? And so through our work with organizations building remote legal services projects, we have learned several things around communicating with clients, providing support to volunteer attorneys and advocates, and developing tools that adjust to the day-to-day of pro bono directors, attorneys, coordinator, and staff. And at Pro Bono Net, we recognize that every program is different, and organizations are the ones who have the knowledge and expertise in what works best for their communities. And these are some of the questions that we like to keep in mind to better understand remote legal help workflows and to help programs envision models that increase efficiency, that expand legal help to individuals, and that also motivate pro bono professionals and other advocates to continue providing remote legal services to individuals. And a lot of the answers to these questions have helped inform the development of Remote Legal Connect, a program of Pro Bono Net that allows organizations to manage remote legal support programs, and which you will see in a couple of minutes. Remote Legal Connect initially started as a pilot technology program in upstate New York and has since been expanded to a more robust platform enabling legal aid and pro bono programs across several states to enroll and match clients and advocates, and also facilitate virtual consultations and document sharing between them. The organizations using Remote Legal Connect have the flexibility to manage everything in one place, from list of clients and volunteer attorneys to documents and forms, reports, video chat sessions, and also resources for users. And an organization can also customize the branding of its website and integrate third-party tools to enhance the experience of users and volunteer attorneys. And what you see on your screen are screenshots of the home pages of several of the Remote Legal Connect websites used by our partners. Before we show you the platform and what we've learned from our partners in this initiative, we also wanted to share more about what we have learned along the way and what actually led us to building this technology. So when it comes to meeting remotely with clients, we've learned that it's helpful to clients when they don't need to download anything to their computer devices or mobile phones. That's why we've made Remote Legal Connect entirely web-based so that all the client needs is access to a device and to the internet. And if a client doesn't have an email address, they can still have an account using a cell phone number. So that can significantly expand the services made available to people who feel more comfortable using their mobile phones to connect with an advocate. Some clients may also prefer to receive text message notifications about their upcoming appointment or documents they need to share with an attorney. So we've developed the platform so that organizations using it can customize text message or email notifications sent to clients. For advocates volunteering with a pro bono program, for example, one of the most common challenges we hear is related to emailing case documents in separate emails, or having a long email thread with multiple documents, or it can be something like emailing too much about which documents are missing from the client to set up a meeting with them. And you'll also see that we have addressed that in Remote Legal Connect by giving users the ability to share documents with each other without having to use email, and organize them in a way that is easy for everyone to access them. We have also learned that pro bono attorneys value the support available from legal aid organizations they're volunteering with, especially if they're volunteering on a pro bono case for the first time. So that feedback led us to providing an integrated real-time chat assistance to pro bono attorneys when they are meeting with their client, so that staff at the organization can provide that real-time assistance to the attorney. And so other questions we ask, right? How can organizations easily manage documents from multiple clients? And how do we send those documents to pro bono attorneys? How many people should have access to a client's case documents? Those are all questions that we think about as well. And the mechanism through which clients can share documents within an organization or a pro bono attorney should also be easy, right? We have learned that most clients use mobile phones to connect remotely with pro bono attorneys. So we've developed Remote Legal Connect to be mobile friendly, including giving clients the ability to upload documents from their phones and pictures taken with their mobile device cameras. And organizations that manage a Remote Legal Connect project can easily download, share, and export documentation. And finally, we've learned that organizations have the flexibility, or should have the flexibility, to manage their remote legal support projects and help them tailor the client and volunteer's experience. So the option to personalize the remote legal support projects gives the organizations the opportunity to adjust those projects based on workflow changes, which can happen, especially during the pandemic, branding, and other things such as staff turnover. So just a little bit more about this program. Pro Bono is really proud to work with its Remote Legal Connect partners across 5 states. The platform was co-designed with legal aid organizations in New York, Ohio, and Georgia. And we did this with support from the New York IOLA program and also the American Bar Endowment. The first version of Remote Legal Connect was developed for a remote project in upstate New York when we partnered with the Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York to support clients with housing and consumer issues. Legal Information for Families Today, or LIFT, in New York City is also using Remote Legal Connect to help self-represented litigants in family court. And in Ohio, Remote Legal Connect was launched to help pro se custody litigants, specifically grandparents and caregivers with family issues related to the opioid crisis. During the pandemic, especially in 2020 and last year, organizations in Georgia, Nebraska, and Alabama also launched their Remote Legal Connect initiatives for remote projects to support clients with eviction cases, name changes, family cases as well, and emergency rental assistance program applications. This year, Hofstra Law School will also launch a remote version of their medical legal partnership program with a hospital based in New York City. So we're certainly excited about that project since it's the first medical legal program using Remote Legal Connect. So as you can see, the platform is not limited to a certain type of project. It is mostly used for pro bono programs, but can also be used for any type of program to facilitate virtual consultations and document sharing. And based on the feedback from the organizations we've worked with over the past few years, we developed this platform as an entirely user-based platform, meaning that every account user will have a different view of the website when they log in, and this is something that administrators of the website can manage as well. So there are 3 types of accounts. The first one is an administrator account, which will have access to all the features of the website. So administrators are able to control all the settings of what advocates and clients can see. The advocate accounts, which can be for attorneys, law students, or other advocates, these account users will have access to the client's case documents and the video chat feature. And then there's the client accounts. These account users will also have access to the video chat feature, case documents, and notes from the advocate. All right, so let's see how it works. As you watch the following videos, please feel free to enter any questions you have about the platform or anything you would like us to elaborate on, and we can get to them at the end. Let's see what it looks like from the administrator's point of view. An administrator in Remote Legal Connect can be anyone from the organization, such as a managing attorney, a staff attorney, or a pro bono coordinator. There can be multiple people with administrator access as well. When an administrator logs in, they will immediately see a list of the organization's clients, content pages at the top, and the settings to manage the website at the top right. Administrators can configure multiple parts of the website to match the branding of the organization or pro bono program. They can also set website permissions for both clients and advocates. Upon clicking on Site Settings, the administrator will see a list of settings to manage on the left side of the page. They can manage and update the logos of the site here, as well as set the color codes for buttons, navigation bars, and text of the website. The interactive interview setting is to allow administrators to add to the website any LawHelp interactive interviews available in their state. LawHelp Interactive is a program of Pro Bono Net that helps advocates and self-represented litigants in court or agencies fill out legal documents. If an organization would like to add a LawHelp Interactive powered interview to the Remote Legal Connect site, this is where they would add that link. The idea is for the advocate to open the interview during the consultation with their client and help them complete the interview to generate the legal documents the client will need to file. Administrators can also edit any of the automatic email or text message notifications that users receive. This can be particularly helpful to provide instructions as needed to the client or advocate. For example, if after a consultation, an attorney uploads completed documents to the site, the client will receive a notification about the documents. In this scenario, the administrator can add text to provide instructions to the client, such as asking the client to log in and then review the documents uploaded by the attorney. The administrator can also edit any of the automatic text messages a client receives if they have been registered to the site just with their mobile phone number. In addition to customizing the automatic notifications that users receive, administrators can also customize the pages on the website. As an example, the Contact Us page is where the administrator would list the contact information for both clients and advocates when they log in, or any other information that would be helpful to share with them. Under Toggle Pages, administrators can choose which pages or buttons they want clients and advocates to see when they log in. This setting allows organizations to customize their website based on their program, and administrators can update or change these settings at any time. As an example of a setting that the administrator can update, the Start Virtual Consultation button offers the flexibility for administrators to control who opens a video chat session. For example, let's assume both the client and the attorney have an appointment at 3 p.m. and both of them have logged in at 2:45 p.m. However, the attorney is not ready yet to start the video meeting because they're still reviewing the case documents. In this scenario, the administrator can set this so only the attorney can start the video chat session. The client would see the attorney is online and will receive a notification when the attorney is ready to meet with them. Now let's see the clients page. To add one or more clients, the administrator would click on Sign Up Clients and enter basic information from the client, including first and last name and at least one method of communication. The rest of the fields are optional. Once a client has been added, the administrator can go to the organization's client list where they can see the status of the cases and also search a client by their name, or filter by open, closed, or unassigned open cases. Administrators can have clients assigned to them if they have their own cases. But as the administrator, an assignment to a client is not necessary to view the client's case documents or notes, since the administrators by default have access to the client list. Now let's see what the client profile looks like. The client profile will include the contact information of the client, as well as their address and a list of the client's open and closed cases. If the administrator needs to add another case to the client's account, they would go to Add New Case and enter the details accordingly. Upon clicking on the client's case, the administrator will see a summary of the case, including the following: the case files, the case notes, which only the advocate and the administrators can see, and the notes to client, which is visible to the administrator, the assigned advocate, and the client. An advocate and the administrator can also edit notes at any point in time. To assign a case to an advocate, the administrator would go to the Assigned Advocates section and select which advocate should have access to this client's case. If you would like to give other advocates permission to see the client's case, files, and profile, you can also assign them here. This would be helpful for scenarios such as law students helping with the case, or pro bono coordinators or staff authorized to update or work on the client's case. Administrators can close a case and select the outcome of the case as well. To upload or view the case files, the administrator would click on Case Files and upload either documents or links to the client's case. They also have access to delete any of the case files if needed. If the administrator needs to export the client's case information, such as case notes and case files, they can click on Email Case Info and send the information that way. This functionality has been helpful to organizations using case management systems with unique case email addresses. The administrator can enter the email address, copy other email addresses if needed, and export the information. They can also edit the pre-populated information, which will appear on the body section of the email, and select which documents to attach to the email before sending. The previous VC sessions will show the administrator the total number of video chat sessions with the client, as well as the duration of those consultations. This can be helpful for reporting purposes. An administrator can also curate resources for both clients and advocates. This is an example of a client-facing page, which advocates could also have access to. The administrator can organize the resources by section headers, which they can create and update by clicking on Edit Sections. To add a new resource, the administrator would click on New Document, add the file or link, and select the heading the resource should be under. Finally, the Copy to Client Case function allows administrators to copy a specific resource to a client's case. This is especially useful if you would like the client to review any documents in advance of their consultation, such as the scope of their representation or any other forms. All right, so we'll share now what the advocate looks like, the advocate from the advocate's perspective. An advocate can be anyone from an organization, firm, or pro bono program, such as a volunteer attorney or a law student. When the advocate logs in, they will see their client's page. This page will show a list of all past, current, and future clients, and a link to the advocate's account page where they can change their user account information. From the client list, the advocate can select the client with whom they have an upcoming appointment with. If the advocate has multiple clients, they can also use the search box to find their client. Once the advocate clicks on the client's name, they will see the client's page, including a list of cases that have been assigned to them. Under the Cases section, the advocate can select the case related to the upcoming session with the client, and they'll see the case page, which is very similar to the administrator's view. It has a case title, where the advocate can select the pencil icon to edit the case's title if needed, the case files, the Start Virtual Consultation button, the case notes, and the notes to client. Advocates can open and review any documents uploaded by the client or the organization prior to the consultation. When the client is online, the advocate will see an Online Now indicator on their client page. If the advocate clicks on the Start Virtual Consultation button, the client will receive a message notifying them that their advocate is ready to start the video chat. In addition to meeting with their client, an advocate can access any resources or documents uploaded by the administrator, such as materials for pro bono attorneys. If an administrator has given access to advocates to other pages such as resources for clients, the advocate can see and copy specific resources to their client's case file as well. If the advocate needs to report the hours spent on the case, they can download information from within the system, such as number of clients and clients by county. The advocate can export this information in any of the formats listed here. So now you've seen the administrator's view and also the advocates, and the last part will show you how it looks like for the client's side. A client can log in with either an email address or a mobile phone number. Upon logging in, clients can see any pages an administrator gives them access to. The client will also have access to their account information where they can update their profile or any details initially entered by the administrator, such as their contact information. A client can navigate to the My Cases section at the top and see their list of open and closed cases. The client will see the contact information for the organization or pro bono program as added by an administrator. When a client clicks on the case, they will see a link to their documents page, any notes from the advocate or the administrator, and a list of the advocates assigned to their case. If your organization, for example, has identified an attorney that can take on a pro bono case, and the attorney needs to review the documents in advance of the consultation, you can instruct the client to go to this page and upload any documents, including images or pictures taken with their mobile device camera. Once the documents have been uploaded, you can let the attorney know they can log into their account to review all the files. By providing the client the opportunity to upload documents directly to their account, you can verify everything has been uploaded for the attorney to review in advance. We're now going to see what the virtual consultation looks like. As mentioned in the administrator video, the administrator can determine who can start a video chat session. It can be only the advocate, only the client, or both the client and advocate. When the advocate is online, the client will see the Online Now indicator. If an advocate or administrator believes the client may be having internet connection issues, They can also ask the client to run an internet speed test to determine whether the client can successfully connect to the video chat. The client can then start the virtual consultation. The user on the other end will receive a message notifying them that the client is ready to start the video chat. Upon clicking on this button, the program will run a video, audio, and browser test to make sure the client has the necessary audio and visual components to run the program. Both users will also be able to chat with each other, share their screen, mute or unmute themselves, minimize the window, or turn on or off their video camera. Hello, Kanchana. How are you doing today?
Hi, Jeannie. I'm doing good, thank you. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you for asking. In this demo, we will have Kanchana share her screen as the advocate to provide an example of how the users can review documents together. Wonderful. I can confirm that I see your screen. All right. Well, it was wonderful to see you again, Kanchana. Take care.
Thank you, Jeannie. Bye.
Bye-bye. The client would then close the video chat window and navigate back to their account or documents page if needed. After a consultation, the client can download any completed documents during the meeting with the advocate. A client can also download or click on any resources relevant to their case. So now that you've seen how it works, we wanted to share more about what we've learned from partners using this platform for their remote legal projects. We've learned that the platform helps them connect with clients who own smartphones, and because Remote Legal Connect doesn't require a download, it's great for clients who have limited data capacity on their phones. Part of our work with organizations also confirmed the value of knowing when users are online and when they are in a video chat session. The online now and in-session indicators that you just saw on the video, those let administrators know when an attorney has connected with a client. So if the online now indicator is showing for too long, for example, that may be an indicator that the client or attorney is having trouble connecting and may need assistance with troubleshooting. Partners have also shared with us that the experience of the client and attorney meeting to draft documents and then sharing those documents is of great value as well. For example, clients can upload copies of court papers they would like to discuss with their attorney, and pro bono attorneys can help litigants fill out new petitions during a consultation, which they can then upload to the client's profile so the client can finalize and file that document with the court. The ability to use the platform even to set up remote clinics has also been helpful during the pandemic, and the ease of adding clients and quickly assigning them to the volunteers, as you saw, also helps increase efficiency and productivity. And then one other example I'll highlight is the third-party integration tools such as live chat, which help enhance the client experience. For example, one of our partners has a remote waiting room where clients who have a virtual consultation scheduled with an attorney via Remote Legal Connect can enter that waiting room where they can chat with a staff person to get answers to questions about using the technology before meeting with their attorney. And I'll let Jessica talk a little bit more about the Remote Legal Connect API for this slide.
Thank you, Jeannie. So in building this system, we recognize the importance of integrating with other technology systems your program is already using to create better and more efficient experiences for staff. So to address this, Remote Legal Connect has an API that can connect to case management systems such as Legal Server or any other system an organization might use that has API capabilities. So while Remote Legal Connect can be used as a lightweight case management system, if that's helpful to a program using it, it is intended to complement, not replace, a CMS like Legal Server. Organizations can use the API to complete a number of different tasks automatically, such as creating a new client in Remote Legal Connect. For example, if as part of your intake workflow, a new client and their case is added to your case management system, that new client and their case can also be added to Remote Legal Connect via the API, eliminating the need to manually add the client to two systems. Advocate accounts and advocate case assignments that are in the case management system can also be copied over into Remote Legal Connect as well. The API also works in the opposite direction, allowing you to push advocate and client information and files from Remote Legal Connect to an outside system. So a couple of examples of the organizations that we're working with right now who are utilizing the API are Atlanta Legal Aid Society, who is now using Legal Server integration to automatically create client accounts in Remote Legal Connect from their Legal Server instance. And we're also currently working with Alabama Legal Services to implement their API integration as well.
Great. And then, so now that you've seen that, here are some workflow examples of how Remote Legal Connect is being used. But these are also, I think, workflow examples of how other technology tools can be used to provide remote legal services. In this workflow, the one-on-one consultations, the administrator will add the client and the volunteer attorney to Remote Legal Connect. And then the administrator will ask the client to upload the necessary case documents to the platform so the attorney will have that chance to review before the consultation. And then the attorney and the client meet, go over the documents, and follow up with next steps as needed. We often get a question about, how do you work with clients who don't have access to the internet or who prefer to just call their attorney. So one of the strategies that we recommend is actually part of what one of our partner organizations does, is to have the client separately email or text the administrator the documents, and then the administrator uploads those documents to the platform so the attorney can review them. The attorney in this scenario will then call the client via phone while reviewing and completing any necessary documents via Remote Legal Connect, such as a Law Help Interactive interview. And then the attorney will upload the completed documents to the platform, and the administrator will download the documents to file those on behalf of the client. There's also a virtual clinic model, which is similar to the one-on-one consultation model. In this model, however, the client pre-registers for a remote clinic that will take place at a designated time. For example, it can be from 9 in the morning to noon on a Friday. And the client is instructed to upload their documents to the platform before the clinic. The attorney will review in advance if needed and at the designated time of the clinic. And then the client and the attorney will meet to discuss the case and documents. So I know we have a few questions, but I think we have just 2 more minutes just to share a great video that one of our partners developed to highlight the volunteer experience on the Family Legal Connection website that an organization in New York City is using to provide remote legal services to litigants in family court. So I'll just share that. We've included here a few resources that we've also mentioned throughout the presentation, and you can access those as well when we upload the recording. All right, and I think we can take the rest of the minutes that we have to answer questions.
Great. Thank you, Jeannie. There's a few in the chat, and I think I can speak to a couple and then I'll pose a couple to you and Jessica, but some really great questions came in the interim. A couple of our participants asked if the platform has multilingual capabilities. And I think there would be ways now to publish some of the public-facing information about the program in a language other than English to help people learn about the remote service and how to access it. But the kind of interior of the site that you saw Jeannie shared with the advocate and kind of program manager workflow, that does not currently have mirror site capabilities, similar to what some of you may be familiar with, say, on Citizenship Works or on a law help type site. So we're interested in hearing more about programs about their needs in this space. It's definitely an area that Pro Bono Net is interested in, and we've done a lot of work in our other products. We're just not there yet with Remote Legal Connect. There was also a question about can people use this platform on mobile phones? And that's a great question. And Jeannie, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. So the answer is yes. People can use the platform on mobile phones. So any type of user, so the administrator, the advocate, or the client can log in with their phone. And then clients, especially clients, they don't need an email address to log in. If they prefer to just use a mobile phone number, they can log in with that as well. So all of the features that you saw when we were sharing the platform on a computer device, it just adjusts to the mobile device, but it works the same way.
Great, thank you. And there were a couple of other questions about integrations with other case management systems. Salesforce was mentioned, and a system used in the immigration sector. And Jessica, could you speak a bit more about those API and integration related questions?
Sure. So our API is not designed to, is designed to integrate with any system that has API capabilities on their end. So it's the foundational API capabilities that we have. It's not just like, oh, we only connect to legal server. It's not specific to a type of CMS or system. And so while we have not set up any integrations yet with Salesforce or immigration, we are definitely looking for opportunities to work with organizations who use other systems other than legal server, so that we can learn about how those integrations would get set up. Because it's definitely interested in expanding our current list of integrations that we do have. So I know that Salesforce does have an API. I've never used it myself, but that's a great example of a system that would be wonderful to learn about how to actually set up that integration.
Great. And there was also a question I'll pose back to Jeannie. Can the pro bono attorney upload documents, or does the administrator need to do that?
Both the administrator and the pro bono advocates can upload documents. Some of our partner organizations will upload documents to the platform. So the administrators will upload any documents that the attorney and the client will need to review in advance. But there's always the flexibility of other users being able to upload and manage those documents for the client.
Great, terrific. And there was also a great question asking, can we speak to the data and security of this platform and share where the information is located on your website if possible? We have an FAQ about Remote Legal Connect's level of security that we're happy to send people. I'll just say a few words about that as general background. So the Remote Legal Connect, it's a secured web platform. All information transmitted to and from the site is encrypted, and we use cloud hosting through Microsoft Azure, and through that we're able to take advantage of Azure's extensive built-in features such as firewall, various levels of protection, high availability, and regulatory compliance. There's also different user level levels of security. So we recognize that in the workflow and the use cases that Jeannie shared, the clients, pro bono attorneys or advocates, and program managers, people managing remote legal services, all will have different needs around system access. And so there's different types of user permissions and access permissions built in at the user level, but happy to speak to that in more detail or share our FAQ if anybody would like to follow up with us. I'm just looking, I think there were a couple of other questions here that we'll speak to, and then there was a request to go back to the Remote Legal Connect or the virtual clinic workflow one more time, which we can pull up on the screen while we field some of these other questions. There was also a question about cost. That's a great question. We, Pro Bono is a nonprofit organization, and we're offering this as a software as service, similar to some of the models that some of you may be familiar with in some of our other program areas. There's essentially two base costs that the programs would need to factor in. There's an initial setup and first year cost, which allows us to work with programs to onboard them to the system, configure the system for their needs, train your staff and advocates on the program, and consult around the service design and any integration support if you were looking to integrate with Legal Server or Clio or another case management system. So there would be that initial setup and first year fee. And then after that, there's an ongoing annual fee for core maintenance and support and training. And I can share more details about that. The scope of those costs depends a bit on the scope of your project and your needs and how you're planning to use this, what your service model is. And I'm happy to share more details about that with anybody that would like to follow up individually for that information. One of the other things that we have tried to do in this design is really think about sustainability from the outset as a nonprofit working in a field with many other nonprofit providers. And we've thought about, how do we build in sustainability and think strategically about that from the outset for our field partners. One of the ways we've done that is to create a system that is multi-tenant. So what that means is that a program could use Remote Legal Connect and offer it to other partners in your state justice community to use for their own pro bono or remote legal services programs as well, where each program would have a separate instance kind of within one shared statewide instance or one regional instance of the platform to use within their own walled garden for their own services. So we've done that, both because of needs we've heard around overall pro bono or remote service design, but also to open up opportunities for a network of programs or a statewide program to invest in this kind of strategy together and use those multi-tenant capabilities for cost sharing or building collaborations within your state justice community. Let's see. Just looking to see if there's any other questions that we missed. So a really interesting question here about have folks noticed difficulties building relationships with clients? How does operating more through this platform affect how they're able to interact and build rapport and sustain relationships with clients? That's a really excellent question. I think there may be some additional insights about that we can share through some toolkits that we and some of our partners have created that touch on exactly that topic, that I think, thank you, Jeannie, that recognize that much of what makes this technology strategy work is that relationship building, rapport building, helping to understand where people are in their technology comfort and literacy, when even considering offering the option to them to participate or engaging them in a program like this. Jeannie, is there anything more you'd want to say briefly on that point?
Sure. I mean, I'll say that based on the conversations that we've had with partners, it helps when clients feel that kind of personalized experience, the ability to log in with their own account and then meet via video with their attorney and have those personalized notes from the attorney that they can access and also receive customized notifications. So I think those are also ways that we've learned where clients appreciate that experience, and consultation with their attorney, and also sometimes organizations will have more than a client meet with an attorney more than once. So it's an opportunity for them to use the platform again and manage other cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've done a couple of other trainings at Pro Bono Net that are a little bit more focused on how to build rapport in online environments and online services, or that have segments about that, and some of the surrounding support before somebody would engage in a remote consultation or after, that we've heard and observed ourselves can be helpful, and some questions to ask clients during an intake process to help gauge their comfort and ability to engage in a system like this. So I'm happy to share segments of any of those decks or references to any of those materials that are a little bit more kind of tactical in nature about that.
And I see there's a question, Liz, about what agreements organizations use to ensure that advocates are managing confidential documents and not saving them on their personal computers, etc. So some of the organizations using this platform will have advocates sign agreements, limited scope engagement agreements, which it will include information about that. And also organizations provide additional materials and guidance that advocates will need to review and confirm that they have reviewed before logging in and meeting with a client using this platform.
Great. Well, we have a few other questions that I think we may need to follow up on individually, just because we're just at time, but really excellent questions and discussion. And certainly on if there's any broader questions about remote legal services and people's experiences in remote legal services, even if Pro Bono Net doesn't know the answer, if it's not kind of within our experience, one of the things we try to do as an organization is help connect people to others in the community that might be facing similar challenges. So we'll take some of these questions back and try to follow up individually, but don't hesitate to reach out to us afterwards as well.
Great. Well, just a reminder that the video recording will be posted to our YouTube channel, and you'll receive a link as well. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today, and hope you have a great rest of the day.